this edition of Wednesday Palaver. Today we are going to be focusing some attention on education. There's crisis in education in Ghana. There are reports of the school feeding program having all kinds of problems. The caterers are saying that they can no longer continue to feed children on 97 pesos a day. They want 3 cedis 50 pesos a day to be able to feed the children. There are problems with classrooms, no blackboards, no chairs, and so on, all around the country. Of course, our Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, has a very simple solution. Digitize the school feeding program. He's going to digitize the school feeding program, and one wonders how that is going to be able to solve the problem of non-payment to the caterers, the problem of insufficient funds, and so on. But one of the other problems which is being highlighted is the lack of textbooks. Many of the students and pupils have no textbooks at all. Now again, our magical Vice President has come up with a solution. Don't worry. Instead of giving you textbooks as we know them, we are now going to put the textbooks on laptops. Wow. What an innovation. Textbooks on laptops. Now, this issue has been discussed by educationists, by all kinds of people, and so on. It has also received the attention of the Accra Collective of the Socialist Movement of Ghana, which had a discussion of the issue last week. Now, today, on Wednesday Palaver, a member of the Accra Collective of the Socialist Movement of Ghana will lead us in a discussion of textbooks on laptops, and it is my distinguished pleasure to welcome to the microphone Senyo from the Accra Collective of the Assembly, please.
Good evening, fellow comrades and viewers. Today, we would like to talk about the promises of our Vice President. In fact, we'll just put it simply as improving educational standards, textbooks on laptops. Now, I would like to start from this sphere. Now, first, what is public policy? Public policy is the best described as the broad area of government laws, regulations, court decisions, and local ordinances. Today, government affects all aspects of our lives. Everyone has a stake in public policies enacted by state or local governments. Many citizens, groups try to influence public policy through the political process by supporting candidates and political parties. That's a good way to make a positive impact, but not the best way. Politicians and political parties come and go. Their positions on issues can change due to circumstances. They can be voted out of power as easily as they are voted in. The best way to make a lasting impact on the public policy is to change the public opinion. How is that done? Now, when we change the beliefs of the people, that's the constituents or the public gallery. Politicians and political parties change with them. Now, in a policy cycle, it's simplified as a policy process by Laswell, a political science professor in Dakota. Now, he gave 7 stages, which I'll just enumerate briefly, as intelligence, promotion, prescription, invocation, application, and termination appraisal. But he then went to settle on 5 stages, which I have as agenda setting, policy formulation, decision-making, implementation, and evaluation. We are not talking about cancellation here, please. Now, what happens at agenda setting? Now, policy making presupposes the recognition of the problem. The problem recognition itself requires a societal recognition, then we will be able to see how we can solve that problem. Now we go to policy formulation and decision making. Now during this stage, after we express our problems, then we demand from each other how we'll be able to find solutions to this. Then we move to implementation, evaluation, and termination. Now, the major problem we are looking at here is how we digitize our educational system. Uruguay introduced something we call Plan CESBAL. The Plan CESBAL was introduced back in 2007. And when this was introduced, it's been able to eliminate hitches in the educational system. Kenya did the same, and we are here to do it. In January 2023, our Vice President says that at the New Year school, he commented that he's going to supply tablets to senior high school students. Now, 5 months into the year of 2023, last week at Hawkeye EP School's anniversary celebration, he said again, he is going to ensure that there's going to be a supply of laptops to senior high school students, from electronic tablets in January to laptops in May. I just like the level of metamorphosis. Anyway, he's doing well. Just like the weaver birds in our villages. When you wake up, you see weaver birds making a lot of noise. I see him to be making those kind of noises as well. Now, let's take a look at what he's trying to do. Earlier, this same vice president promised or started an initiative on the one teacher, one laptop, which I think is in limbo. A sum of 540 cedi was deducted from accounts of teachers. Some teachers have received their laptops, some haven't received theirs. But as of last year, 18 February 2022, the vice president came to tell the public at a public function that 80% of that process is true. I wonder where the remaining percentage is now. Now, how will we be able to place textbooks on our digitized educational system? A case where we are not able to really effectively implement the one teacher, one laptop policy. How then will we be able to do this? It's been about 5 years now or so that our brothers and sisters in primary schools have not received their textbooks, if I'm not telling a lie. Because there's no school in this country that will tell us that they have full complement of their textbooks as of today. Now let's look at something here. How sustainable is this initiative by the vice president again? Now, are students going to own the laptops even after completion, or they will be the property of the schools? Will the students be allowed to take them home when school is on recess? Will the nation be able to provide for every student in case the students own these laptops? Now, let's do a preamble here. When these students own the laptops, on average, the number, let's say 100,000 students start laptops at a certain moment. What then happens to the cost of electricity? To the schools that are already strapped or necktied with non-supply of food from the Ghana school feeding program. There are a lot of issues we have to look at. In some schools, There are not available subject teachers, not to even talk of ICT teachers. Now, the government has shown they are mostly interested in optics of such policies. Now, if you take most of their much-touted programs, be it the free SHS, the one district, one factory, and others, maybe some other ones will come afterwards. When they start nicely, they end along the way. They are not able to realize these programs, which is very difficult. And it's always tied with a lot of corruption, because in the procurement process, and we all know this, that corruption is morally odious. It is economically expensive and economically crippling and politically tenacious. Now, in this same vice president promising all of these things, how would we be able to change our educational system? Because for meaningful reception learning to take place, atmospheres must be created for that to happen. Our brothers and sisters in the primary schools do not have textbooks. So ask yourself, or we can pose that question to ourselves, how are they able to learn? Because you have to follow a particular curriculum. Because the relevant previous knowledge must be gotten before you be able to learn something new. So what are they following so far? Is it a Brownian motion taking place in their heads, or is it a tabula rasa happening to them? But the case is being stated that there's no curriculum. So how are they going by their studies now? Most of these leaders at the helm of affairs have their kids in the best schools in this country, where they are using the British curriculum and other, international curriculum to be taught. Will our brothers and sisters in the villages, or even somewhere in Accra, be able to do that? Like it's been done or was done in Montevideo in Uruguay? No. Was the government, or has the government been able to pay the Ghana school feeding caterers their monies to be able to supply food to the schools to be cooked for our brothers and sisters before we be giving them laptops? By the way, even if you are giving our brothers and sisters laptops, you don't consider only the senior high school. You start from the base, the primary schools. Then they are able to get the concrete or the basics of what ICT learning is before they can progress. Now you create a gap, they jump without knowledge of ICT in the primary schools, then you jump to senior high school. How then would they be able to form the schema in their heads? Now, how will teachers be able to do policing in such classrooms when you give them laptops, considering the student ratio of 8:1 in classes? If you've been to most of our classes in the public schools, the class size is huge. And it's become very difficult for the teachers to be able to control the class. Will the teachers be able to do that? Then how do we neglect all levels of Ghana's education system and myopically stay fixated on just the senior high school education, like I said earlier? How viable would we be able to build a robust educational system if we are only concentrating on some areas? If we've not seen the crèche, the primary school, then we are not only basing it on senior high school. What of the university education? Will we be able to get there? There is something I would like us to look at, where the consensus-based adoption model of change was used in a research carried out by the University of Nevada in Las Vegas. They came up with 3 postulations. The outcomes are: 1, alignment of professional development and teacher consents. 2, give teachers a voice, innovation, adoption. Have we really consulted the stakeholders, our GES and our teachers, then the parents as well? That's what this second place is talking about. Understanding a change is a process. Now, if change is a process, have we really involved the GS or the stakeholders, the parents, and all the people in the community as part of this process? That's what's key about this research. Fellow comrades, our educational system is challenged. Infrastructure-wise, we do not have enough in the schools. The classroom blocks are not enough. The TLMs have not been provided. How then will we be able to get there? If we don't get our TLMs right, the infrastructure right, how do we introduce ICT to the teaching of our brothers and sisters? Would they be in a vacuum if they don't have classroom blocks? If we don't have TLM to teach them, why then will we be able to introduce ICT? Most of the people we in Accra think Accra or other parts of the cities is only part of the country. No. When you go to the outskirts of this country, there are a lot of classrooms or students staying outside or pigsty or pigsty-looking classroom blocks. That's what they're learning. Even mud houses they stay in, which is very bad. We all have to find a way to participate in this. The fight is on for us all to critique the policies of the government, else we wouldn't be able to get there. I'll leave with this quote from Karl Marx. Karl Marx says, the country that is more developed industrially only shows to the less developed the image of its own future. I guess this is clear. Thank you.
Well, we have started a discussion on textbooks, on laptops, the proposal of His Excellency the Vice President, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. There are many questions begging for answers. First and foremost, we've seen some videos and photographs of classrooms around the country. Now, in places where the students are in dilapidated buildings, where students have no desks and so on, where would the laptops be kept? Where? Just where would the laptops be kept? What about the places without electricity? How are they going to be able to use these laptops? In any case, how many teachers can use laptops, ICT literate, and so on? These are the important questions. Now, we don't have money to feed the students. We are feeding the students on 97 pesos a day, and we want to give them laptops. What kind of laptops are we going to give to these students that we cannot feed? You understand? So there's so many questions which come out of this. In any case, textbooks. What kind of textbooks? Are we going to put the same textbooks which poison the minds of our students on laptops? The textbooks which describe Nkrumah as a dictator, is that what we are going to put on the laptops? So you can actually put, even if you succeed in putting textbooks on laptops, those textbooks can become poison for the children. So it boils down to what kind of education are you giving to the children and what kind of textbooks are you providing, for the children? Now, it's not my duty to lead this discussion. This is a discussion for all of us in the studio and those of you who are joining us on social media. Textbooks on laptops, the possibilities, and so on. So we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to start off first by inviting the studio audience to make your comments. You can say anything. Say anything but stay relevant to the topic. And then thereafter, we're going to go on our social media platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and so on, for all of you who have joined us there to also make your comments. The point is that education in Ghana is in crisis. And one of the solutions that has been put forward by His Excellency, our Vice President, is that he's going to put textbooks on laptops. Textbooks on laptops. Now time for your comments. First, we'd like to see the hands of all those who have contributions to make. I can see 1, I can see 2, see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to come to the microphone and we're going to make your comment. But please don't spend more than 2 minutes because time is running against us. We'll start with the gentleman in the beautiful T-shirt.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kwesi. It's unfortunate we do not have too much time, but I'm going to try and compress all that I have to say in a minute. First of all, I'd like to tell this government and our Vice President to credit us with some level of thinking in the first place. We are not stupid people, pardon my French. We are people who can think through our heads. If you come to tell us that you still have schools under trees that you have not eliminated, you cannot feed the children sitting under these trees to learn. Some lying on the floor. Actually, the last time I saw pictures of some people, some students lying on their bellies to write. You still have close to half of your student population who do not know much about computer. And you want to use our money to procure computers for who? By the way, what is the cost? You remember when they started this free high school thing? What is the cost? What is the cost? What is the cost? All the way from BBC. Nobody told us the cost up to date. I think this is an avenue for some people to create loot and share amongst themselves. If you cannot buy textbooks for our children, how do you procure laptops for them? So please, they should know that we are a thinking population and enough of the lies and, the propaganda.
Good evening, viewers and those people with us here. We are very thankful for our comrade. There's one important thing that maybe we are feeling. Let's talk about the other side of it. Let's look at the people in the printing industry. Look at the number of people involved in writing textbooks, and all those things are printed and sold. So if you decide to put textbooks, it means that there will be, this thing will put on the microphone. So what about the kind of employment you'll be creating after this kind of implementation? Which in fact is only a politics of deception. So I would like to tell Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that he should stop this politics of deception. Secondly, a lot of people will be alienated from the study. Just imagine the number of students outside areas with connectivity. In fact, we are teaching people and they've been telling us all the time that they don't even have connectivity. They don't even have connectivity until they come to campuses. They don't have connectivity. So what is all these things about? Politics of deception. Thank you very much.
Good evening, studio audience and viewers. Mine is just a brief submission because first of all, I think we lack out when we think of education in the country. First of all, what is the purpose of it? Is it just to study and just run till it? No, it must have a connection to the goal or to the purpose of the nation. What is our context? Because we cannot be making comparison to foreign policies on how they run their education. Meanwhile, it doesn't fit well into our system or our context here. Because if we look at the education system, it has failed over the years. We go to school, come back, and there are no jobs. Because certainly we don't look at how to structure this whole thing and then the outcome of it. So that is one thing that we have to look at. And giving laptops isn't the solution. Because first of all, even with textbooks, we are not efficient with that. So how much more thinking about laptops, it's even going to be much of a burden for the parents and for the children as well. And even the teachers that have been employed recently. I have a friend who got employed. She's worked from December till now. She had to be paid salary and 4 months of it is taken out. For what reason? So I think it's something that we have to consider.
Good evening, comrades. With all the discussion happening, I look at this from two questions. How do you beat the price of a laptop with the price of a textbook? If we can't afford textbooks for students, how do we give them laptops? I'm also looking at it from the point of the concentration of the students. The laptops they gave to teachers, how well are they even using it? The laptops they bought, saying they gave to teachers, how well are they using them? We see movies, teachers go to school and they are watching movies on that laptop they gave them. So how well do you expect an SHS student to use a laptop to read? Even the textbooks, they are not reading them, talking more of a laptop. So I'd like us to look at it from that point too.
Good evening to viewers of Pan Africa TV. I have a short message. First of all, a country that messes up with its educational system is already doomed. We have schools that do not have electricity, so I wonder and even homes, parents that cannot even afford, because the taxes alone on electricity bills alone or utility bills is too crazy. So I'm asking, even if these laptops are given to the kids to have them at home or probably keep them in schools, how do they charge them? I'm asking for Dr. Baumia to give us feedback if he's possible and if he's capable. And also, kids that do not even feed or do not feed properly, how do they really concentrate on the laptop to get the necessary education? We do not even have a lot of IT teachers that can probably go to rural areas in the first place, or they are not even enough to be able to satisfy those in town. How much more the rural areas? So we're asking the president and the vice president, can they give us feedback for all the questions we're asking? Thank you.
Well, good evening, comrades. Textbooks on laptop. Well, I had the opportunity to listen to the Vice President, Dr. Baomia's speech he made at the Hoho AP Senior High School. He stated emphatically that we must invest in education, which I totally agree with him. But now, let's look at this. Our poor infrastructure schools, the dilapidated schools, students are writing on their bellies, and there is nothing good to write home about when it comes to our educational system. We cut our code according to our size. We have to do first thing first. So these laptops, are they going to supply them with pen drives? This laptop, they are students. We are in the social media world. If they go home, are they going to, is they going to have checks to see that these students are using it for what is being said? Social media influence to be something that we need to look about. But there is something that I want to ask. Is it only for government senior high school or private senior high schools are involved? Because the private person is saying that I'm a Ghanaian. So if this initiative is coming in, then basically I'm going to play a part in it. So let's be clear about that. But the government needs to make sure that they have spare parts, the batteries, and they are students, they can crash things all over, so that we know about that. So that's the question.
Good evening, viewers. Good evening, comrades. In fact, I am shocked that the president is able to make or give out this information. That you go about, you digitize everything, and still we are suffering. Now, you give teachers laptop, which in about 3 months, about 70% are not working. You are not even able to give laptops to all the teachers that, meanwhile, you've taken our monies. I'm a teacher myself. You took monies from our salaries, getting to 2 years, we've not received laptops. How are you going to give laptops to students who are not going to contribute any money? Even as that, whose money you took, you are not able to give us. And you go about promising, giving promise. I see that politicians, they know that we love we love fantasizing. I don't know, we are utopian, and therefore, when they put anything, the system has made us to think that way, that when you give us a promise, we just jump and then we are happy and we fantasize. In fact, they should accord us with some respect. Thank you.
Good evening, comrades. I think it's sad, and parents and teachers should or must be concerned about this. A lot of unfulfilled promises. Just like our comrades have demonstrated, touchpads that have not been given, laptops that have not been sufficiently distributed, and now they are coming out with this initiative. The reason why I think parents and teachers should be concerned is that the government is implementing a certain he's creating an environment of indoctrination, of tuning the minds of the people that something that is otherwise not normal is now normal. They are trying to normalize the abnormal. That is, if they set goals and they are not able to reach those goals, it's a failure. Now they are trying to make it so systematic that the people become used to it, that when the government says, I'm doing this, and is not able to do, the people do not think that the government is reneging on his responsibilities. What the people should have taken as their right, it is my right to education. As a Ghanaian, I have the right, in fact, something like free SHS. You are not making education free for me. I have the right not to remain ignorant as a Ghanaian. So you coming out with an initiative and saying you've made an achievement, free SHS, you are only giving me back my right that you withheld for so long a time. So for such an initiative, telling us you will give us this, telling us you will give us that, and you are not able to fulfill those promises, the government should know that they are indoctrinating the children that are growing up, that if anyone says, I will do this, and is not able to do that, you should take it normal. That will suppress the students, the children, from rising up for their rise in the future. And that is why parents and teachers must be concerned, because they want their children to grow up and become people who will be responsible, who will tackle the issues of the nation with all seriousness and patriotism. Thank you.
Well, our vice president is not the only politician in the world. And it does appear that politicians around the world have the same penchant, or penchant. You know, there was an election somewhere in a village in England. And this politician went to campaign. So he told the people that if you vote for me, I will build a bridge for you. And one small boy in the crowd just raised his hand and said, but Honorable, we don't have a river here. He said, don't worry, I will add a river. Don't worry, I'll add a river to the bridge. That's what we are all suffering. These right-wing politicians just say anything and promise anything. Now we are being promised that textbooks will be put on laptops. And for the discussion we've had in the studio, this appears to be quite a crazy idea. Its feasibility is doubtful. There are places without electricity and so on. There are other constraints. You can't feed the children. Even the textbooks, which are much cheaper, you can't provide and so on. But I think it's now time to allow our social media patrons to join this discussion. And it is my very pleasant duty to invite to the microphone that young, handsome man and comrade, Abdul Haq.
Okay. Thank you, Comrade Kwesi. Today, our social media is a bit low because of our network challenges. The rain has taken away our competence to stream live from Facebook and YouTube, so we apologize for that. But for those who are watching us live on TV and also providing your comment on the WhatsApp platforms, I'll read out what I have so far. And it keeps coming in also. So I'll start with the WhatsApp messages. And this says, "Hi, my name is Soon Rich from Ho, Volta region. Thank you for the program." Also coming in, it says, "Good evening to you and your audience. The tablet is for the vote buying because the primary or basic pupils are not up to 18 years. Okay, thank you for that message. We also have another one here coming from Abundant Grace. And she says, "This administration had always had beautiful policy, but always for popularism. Basic education is on its knees, and the collapse of second cycle education is glaring. But leaders are pretending everything is all right. We have to chase these crazy bald heads out of town." Okay, from Frank in Pram Pram. Thank you, Mr. Frank, for that message. And this says, "Hi, how is membership enrolled, please?" I'm sure you are asking for SMG. You can reach them on their social media platform, on Facebook, and also on Instagram. This also says, "Good evening, comrades. My name is Nilate from James. I extremely like this program. Thank you. The Vice President of Ghana had made a lot of promises in the past he could not fulfill. Dr. Baumia is somebody whose words should not be taken serious in this country. I don't trust him. Our educational system is in a mess and shambolic state. Is Ghana's Vice President aware that children sit under trees to learn?" Thank you. Thank you for that message. This is also coming from Nana Boachi. "Please just ignore the Vice President. What he is saying cannot be feasible for now." Okay, that's from Nana. Thank you. This also says, "Hi, this is Felicity, watching live from Hope. Please, I want to hear something from my mans." Okay, I'm sure this you are referring to Kwesi. You'll come back in. "Good evening, Pan-African TV. I am following your program. That is the Palaver from Obuasi. I want to say that the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, has taken us for granted for far too long with his empty promises, which he is unable to fulfill prior to him becoming the Vice President and subsequently the Vice President. What is the situation with the one teacher, one laptop after collapsing the economy? He is in a hurry to collapse the educational sector too. Anyone who takes this Vice President and this administration serious does so at their own peril. Thank you for the program. Sam from Obuasi." Thank you, Sam. And this simply says, "Good evening, comrades." Good evening to you too. And here we have, it says, he wants to use that strategy to get more votes to become president, but it will not work for him. Next time, kindly tell us your name and where you are sending your messages from. "These laptops replacing textbooks is not a good initiative. I wonder how students will use laptops to solve mathematics. How will they even use it to study in their own various homes?" From Dan Selassie King, Kumasi. Good evening. Thank you, Dan. This says, "Good evening. In fact, the MPP government is almost succeeding to destroy the moral lives of our children. The students can have access to pornographic materials on these laptops and tablets. Concentrate on it and leaving this topic." Gabriel from Ho. Okay, I think we are having much more messages from WhatsApp, so I'll move to text messages and read a few. And this says, "My name is Big G. Chief, you are too much." Okay, I'm Felicity Sepodo. It's hard. Okay, sorry. Okay. So, good evening, comrades. Please ask the vice president for me if he gives those laptops he claimed he wants to give to students. I have seen students lying on their bellies while writing. Ask him if the students will put the laptops on the floor and lie on their bellies and be using them. Veeb got to be serious and critical in some of his words. Good evening, comrades. I am Mahama from where, please? Please, for your information, Dr. Baumia is a comedian. Oh, who only makes noise on a stage for laughter. Therefore, never take what he says seriously. Thank you. My question is it going to be provided every year, or the final year we always leave theirs? He has no message for Ghanaians, so let's forget him. Yes, my name is Frederick. I want you to ask the vice president for me. What does he want to achieve with this initiative? Well, that's a question for you. Okay, this is also coming from Blaze Tulo Jr. It says, I'm watching you live from home, and kudos to Najib for your submission. Thank you. And I also see headmistress. Okay. I think that's it for now. Thank you so much, comrades.
Well, we keep getting inquiries about how to join the Socialist Movement of Ghana. Now, we operate in collectives across the country, and those who want to join us have to join the collective. That's the basic unit. But I'm going to simplify everything for those of you who want to join the Socialist Movement of Ghana. Please take your phones and take down this number. This is the number of one of the leaders of the Accra Collective, and his name is Najib. So if you want to join the Socialist Movement of Ghana, please contact Najib, and Najib would give you directions as to what to do. So please call 020 020 0098. 0200 200098. Shall I repeat? If you are interested in joining the Socialist Movement of Ghana, wherever you are, please call Comrade Najib on 0200 200098. I repeat the number again. 0200 200098. And this is the phone number of Comrade Najib, and he will help you to join a collective of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. The Accra Collective actually meets in Kokomemble, and the Accra Collective meets at the Freedom Center that is close to Mojabi Edom or Pin Square Restaurant, next door to Pin Square Restaurant. And it meets every Friday from 5 p.m. So if you want to join the Accra Collective, you may come to Mojabi Edom, Pin Square Restaurant, next door to Pin Square Restaurant, and we operate from the Freedom Center there. 5 p.m. every Friday. We start at 5 p.m. So you can join us there. We have discussions on current issues. We educate ourselves. We have a library. We do so many things. So if you want to join us, please come and join us. We have collectives also in other places in Accra. The Islamic University, the University of Ghana, Accra Technical University, and I guess a few other places. I hear a collective is also springing up in Dansoma and so on. But if you get in touch with Comrade Najib, he will give you the necessary directions. Now, we are so grateful to our comrade, Senyo Nyendu, who led the conversations today. And I'm trying to figure out what he can do with the remaining time, because he actually has only 2 minutes. So if he wants to wrap up in 2 minutes, he's welcome to do so. If he thinks that 2 minutes is too short for him, he can make a decision as to what to do. But 2 minutes more, you want to use the 2 minutes? Okay, so 2 minutes for you, and then thereafter we'll wrap up. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Comrade Pratt. Thank you, fellow comrades. Amandla.
Away.
Amandla.
Away.
So, the promises of the Vice President is not be getting taller than Mountain Everest. And the measurables are even smaller than the size or the shoe size of a dwarf. We will have to work on things in this country. Like our sister comrade said earlier, our educational system is in a mess. It's not cataclysmic. Things are not going the way it's supposed to be. Teachers are there who are scared to voice out. You know how it is. If you have to say something now, it'll be sent to the periphery, close to Burkina Faso, the border, or sent somewhere to Volta Regional Flow, close to the Togo border, where you'll be there as a teacher. What then do we do about this situation now? The ICT policy must be sustained, or must be on hold for now, whilst we look at the other things we have to deliver. The school infrastructure, furniture, paying the school feeding, providers, the caterers, their monies for them to be able to provide our brothers and sisters with nutritious meals. See, 1 cedi 50 pesos, 2 cedi 50 pesos. That money has to be increased because we see our streets littered with a number of V8s. So we are begging on or calling on this government to ensure that they will look at our educational system for us. Fellow comrades and viewers, we hope to see more of this action. We perpetuating this action to see a greater change in our educational system. Thank you all.
Something unusual is just about to happen on this program. Something very, very unusual is just about to happen. We have breaking news. Professor Frimpong Boateng, who used to be a minister of Environment, Science and Technology, and who was the chairperson of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, we are told, has been arrested. Our information is that he was invited to the office of the special prosecutor, and he was told that he was being investigated for that the accounts of the Interministerial Committee was being investigated. He was then asked to find somebody to bail him, and he found somebody who bailed him in the sum of 2 million Ghana cedis. This afternoon, we tried to verify the information, and we sent one of our crack reporters to the office of the special prosecutor. The office of the special prosecutor did not confirm the arrest, but also did not deny the arrest. Our reporters have been asked to go to the office of the special prosecutor tomorrow morning at 8:30. So we hope to bring you more news on the alleged arrest of Professor Frimpong Boateng. Stay tuned to Pan-African Television, which brings you the best in news, best in current affairs, best in sports, best in everything. Stay tuned to Pan-African Television until we bring you more next week. But watch Pan-African Television tomorrow for more details on the breaking news, the arrest, and granting of bail to Professor Frimpong Boateng. Bye-bye from all of us.